You want to know how to regain focus and why you're easily distracted. If you're like me, there can be moments where you are extremely locked in on your goals, and then boom, out of nowhere, you're distracted. It literally can happen without any advance notice. One day you're crossing everything off of your to-do list or get to-do list, and then the next you feel like you have so much to do, you don't know where to start, and you become unexpectedly distracted. And as a result, you stall and do absolutely nothing. If this is you, if you've been there, this video is for you. First, let's talk through how to identify your distractions, because sometimes we're distracted and we don't even know it. So, how can we actually regain focus? The first thing we want to do is we want to identify your subtle distractions. These are the things that take unnoticed time away from you working on your goals and you really designing the life you want to live. Some subtle distractions can be checking your emails, answering text messages right away, phone calls, FaceTimes, scrolling through social media, watching TV, and even daydreaming. These interactions can seem harmless. It can be routine, and it seems to only take a few minutes from your day or the task at hand. But the sneaky thing is, with subtle distractions, if left untreated, can develop into an habitual distraction. I don't know if it's just me, but when I decided to lock in on my goals and become extremely focused and have my get to do list, out of nowhere, stuff starts just going crazy. True story. So I record for YouTube on Wednesdays on my days off. And for some reason, it never fails on Wednesdays. Something happens prior to me having to record. Even as I am recording this video here on Wednesday, something always happens. So sometimes it's a phone call or urge to scroll through social media before recording, or just sitting there in my head wondering if the video is going to be good instead of taking action and just recording. Something always happens. Recently, I went to record, so I'm gathering my things. I'm packing up my camera, my tripod, my mic, everything I have ready to go. And I get in the car, I drive to the place where I want to record at, set my stuff up, get ready to record, turn the camera on, and a message pops up, no SD card. I'm like, what? I can't record on my camera without an SD card. So my first initial reaction was, you know what, forget this. I'm just not going to record today. I had literally left my SD card in my computer at home. For a split moment, I was frustrated, and it was a distraction. I had to decide in that present moment if I was going to let a small inconvenience keep me from doing what I know I was supposed to be doing that day or push through. Was I frustrated? As I stated at first, yes, absolutely, I was frustrated. I was frustrated because I was thinking, how in the world could I leave the house without first checking if I had the SD card in the camera to record in the first place? But in reality, it wasn't even, when I took a second to step back, gather myself, and really think about what had happened, it wasn't even all that bad, honestly, y'all, because I was only maybe 10 minutes away from the house, if that. So I gathered myself, I sat there, and I had to decide, am I going to sit here and not record because of this minor distraction, or am I going to go home and get this SD card and do what it is that I know I was supposed to do? So I made up my mind. I went back home, got the SD card, drove back to the place that I wanted to record at, and I recorded my video. I did what had to be done. Early in the video, we talked about subtle distractions, and if subtle distractions are left untreated, then they can become and turn into a habitual distraction. So let's talk through this. So what is a habitual distraction? And a habitual distraction is when the 5 to 10 minute phone call, the scrolling on social media, or catching a few minutes on your favorite show become a priority over the things you really are supposed to be doing to reach your goals. If left untreated, before long, the few minutes get longer and longer. Minutes turn to hours, hours turn to days. And once was just a subtle distraction, now is an excuse as to why you can't do the important things that will help you reach your goals and change your life. So I want you to take a moment to think about your own personal experiences. Have you been letting subtle distractions kind of creep in, left unnoticed, that have now turned into a habitual distraction, where it was first a few minutes and now it has gone longer? It has turned into days where you are beginning to put off things as a result of your distractions. I know for me personally, when thinking about subtle distractions, have you ever answered a FaceTime like right before you were going to do something on your get to do list? Like you had already planned your day out, you knew exactly what it is that you wanted to do, and right before you were going to do what you had to do, you received a FaceTime. I know this has happened to me plenty of times, right? It may have been something that really you had been putting off already, and that FaceTime came at the right time. You thought, right? It bought you time. But no, the only thing that it did was it served as a distraction. And immediately when the FaceTime comes and you're thinking, oh, my friend really, really needs me. Like, I have to grab this right now. Like, it could be something important. So you answer, right? You answer, you stay on the phone close to an hour, chit chatting, catching up, kikiing, having a good time, right? And checking in. Everything feels great in that moment, right? Because you're just having, conversation. Now, once the FaceTime had ended, I can personally attest to this. Once the FaceTime call ends, did you go back to what you were supposed to do before you answered the FaceTime call? Did you have the same energy? And be honest with yourself. Did you have the same energy to show up, right? I can tell you I'm guilty. Phone calls, FaceTime, scrolling through social media are my two main subtle distractions that can very easily, for me, turn into habitual distractions and become my excuse as to why I didn't do the thing I knew I was supposed to be doing. If you're like me, you're probably looking for a way that help yourself when those subtle distractions tend to want to turn into an habitual distraction. So what you can do, I'll share with you a few things that have helped me. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But the following things that I will share definitely has helped me. On the days I record for YouTube in particular, when it's coming time close for me to start recording, I immediately put my phone on D&D, do not disturb. So whatever call, whatever text message or FaceTime can wait for an hour or so when I'm recording for YouTube, doing what it is I'm supposed to be doing. I also learned the value of saying no. I had to make my goals a priority. At first it's hard, but the more you do it, the easier it will become. People will only respect what you're working on to change your life if you respect what you're working on, what you're doing, and show that you're serious. I'll say that again. From experience, I've noticed people are only going to respect what you have going on if you make it a priority and you yourself respect what you're doing and show that you're serious. So how can I show that I'm serious? Why wouldn't they know that I'm serious about the things that I want to do to change my life? If you know you have a plan for your business, if you know you need to shoot content, if you know you need to read or study for a test, practice, make an important phone call, or schedule a meeting with the client, make whatever that is a priority. Like your life depends on it. Nothing else should come before that, right? Especially if it's not a priority. So me personally, my family and friends know now. They will tell you literally on Wednesdays, it's happened today. They'll tell you, I'm quick to say, no, I can't do that today. I have to record for YouTube. Did it today. Short, sweet, and to the point. It does not require a huge explanation as to why you can't do XYZ. The only thing you need to say is, no, I got to do such and such. No, I have to do input the tasks that you have to do that you have made a priority. And it'll come easier. Like I said, it'll come easier the more time you take, the more time you become comfortable with saying no and making the most important tasks that you have to get done to change your life a priority. People will begin to take you more seriously, and people will then understand and know that this is who you are now, right? This is a part of your design. This is a part of your routine, and it'll become second nature. The next thing you would need to do is think about too is what can you do when you are your own distraction? You're in your head overthinking about what you need to do, or you just don't feel like showing up or doing anything. I've been there too. Every day you are not going to feel like showing up, but you can't sit in the feeling and let it cause you to not do anything for weeks at a time. You have to constantly remind yourself of your why. And your why has to be life-changing and create a life far greater than what your present life is, to allow you to push through the feeling of, I don't feel like showing up. I'll sit and think to myself, that tends to push me into action. I'll sit and think, okay, if I don't do anything that has the potential to change my life, that means that I'm fully content with what life has already offered me. And I'll ask you, are you fully content with what life has already offered you? If you are not fully content with what life has already offered you, then your why has to be extremely life-changing. So on those days when you just don't feel like it, on those days when you're in your head about what it is that you need to do, that you become overwhelmed and it causes you to go into the state of not wanting to act and just not do anything, your why has to be your push to make you realize if you do absolutely nothing to change your life, that means you are accepting everything that life has already presented to you. This very thought puts me back in motion because I know there are greater things in store for myself. I know there are greater things in store for you as well, but we have to regain focus and get back to creating the life we truly deserve. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you for sticking around. Go ahead, give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment, let me know if it did help you in any type of way. Also, most importantly, if you made it this far, that means that you probably like me and I like you as well. I would much appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel. Subscribe to the channel so you can join the Terry Shriver Catching a Major Vibe, y'all, because we'll be coming back with another video. Let's go.